Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show, and boy, do we have a cast of characters for you today. We have a sleepy producer who's ready to go on vacation, and we've got two excited young men who want to talk about sports and politics and all things fun. So it's going to be a great show. I feel like the grandfather in this room right now. I really honestly do. All these young people. Oh, and Levi Moore, who's our usual Wednesday sit-in, Troy Blevins, asked me to pass this on to you. He wanted you and I to both know, what did it feel like knowing our mothers were better athletes than we were? That was Troy Blevins' comment. His mother never played a sport, so he doesn't have to worry about that. And by the way, Blake, he included you in that dig as well. That your mother also is a better athlete than you. So
he is 100% right.
For you or for all three of us?
Just
I may want to argue a little bit.
I'm definitely arguing.
I'll definitely say my mom's definitely a better athlete than my dad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say this, Dad, but he knows it's 100% true.
Yes, I completely agree. And your mom was a heck of an athlete.
My mom was a great athlete.
Yes. Yeah.
Still is.
My mom was an athlete at a time when women weren't allowed to go on both ends of the basketball court. They could have babies, which is the toughest thing you have to do, but they couldn't play offense and defense. They had a team for each, and you had to pass the ball across at half court to the other team. Yes.
That's so weird.
It's so weird. It's so weird. But my mom was smart. She had a friend that was like 6'5", and she just threw her the ball inside.
Yeah.
Smart.
My mom was smart.
Probably leads the world in assists.
She did. She was tough. You ever played tennis with her? She was in her 70s. She would beat the snot out of you. When she figured out what shot you couldn't hit, that's the only shot you saw. That's the only shot you saw. All right, let's make some money for this show so we can pay all these amazing people. The team at South State Bank is a group of bankers you can count on. Their approach to building long-term relationships with their customers is the best in the business. If you're looking for a banking relationship that you can depend on, check out South State Bank. They've got 3 locations to service here in St. Johns County. One on State Road 312, one on State Road 16, and the other at the beach, which is my favorite branch. You can also visit their website at southstatebank.com. They are a member of the FDIC and a great sponsor of the show.
They are. Another great sponsor is Brightway Insurance, the Casey agency. They opened their doors in 2008, and they have proudly stood by their customers through hurricanes, major floods, hail, and fires. Through these events, the agency has become a much-needed insurance resource in times of trouble and hardship. Honesty and integrity are the pillars of our core values, says owner Ashley Casey. They pride themselves on being insurance experts while developing strategies that help their clients meet their insurance needs. They truly enjoy the relationships that they have forged with you, St. Augustine. So for all your insurance needs, Brightway Insurance, the Casey agency. Another great local company is SolarStick. They were established in 2006. SolarStick is a local portable power company proudly committed to American manufacturing, constant innovation, and creating jobs right here in St. Augustine, Florida. SolarStick's focus on providing solutions for self-sufficiency helps users all over the world complete missions and save lives. SolarStick, changing lives, saving lives, and reviving American manufacturing.
Land Title of America, whether you realize it or not, when you refinance the sale or purchase of a home, there is a title company involved. Don't get stuck with some out-of-town title company who doesn't give a crap when you're faced with challenges. Stay local and choose Land Title of America. Just call or text Stephen Collins, 904-501-4481. He specializes in all types of real estate transactions. Land Title, your local title company, insuring America's land one title at a time because
they give a crap.
Yes, they do. They give a crap. Land Title, they're actually phenomenal sponsors. They're wonderful. They're great. Love all of this stuff. All right, so we have all kinds of stuff to cover. There's all kinds of things going on in the world. But we did get in an energy drink argument a couple of weeks ago. You were gone, probably doing exhaustive research at energydrinkmanufacturing.com. You're probably sponsored by everybody except for Ghost and Bang.
No.
Who I believe were the two you told us that we still were okay.
I did say that, yes.
See, I remember. I listen to some of your stuff.
Okay.
I never listen to Blake's stuff, but I listen to some of your
Wow.
I know.
Aren't you glad you're here, Blake?
Yes, I am very glad that I'm here, Amanda. I am really glad that I'm here, especially on the days that you're gone, so I can get paid.
Yeah.
And Blake's not used to like going this soon into news stories because on Bollocks they go for forever on ad reads.
Okay. Hey. By the way,
Yeah.
so how many shows do we do in a week?
We do 4.
Okay, we do 1.
Yes.
And guess who has more? So we had to do all 6 twice in the show. Okay.
Yes.
So it's because we have to support our dang sponsors.
Yes. I get it. Listen, if I was talking to your dad, I'd rather have him read ads than talk to him. I've been talking to him for 40 years, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. He's got a lot to say.
Yes, he does.
He's got a lot to say. All right. So, sports drinks, I drink these V8 energy drinks,
Correct.
but there's a
Chemical?
chemical in here
Yes.
that you say is bad for you.
100%.
And Amanda has a different opinion about that. So what is the chemical that is bad for us that we should look out for on all of these? Because I saw it on Instagram around the same time that you brought it up.
The vegetable.
Blake, you're right.
Let's start by saying though that I did say that no energy drinks are good.
None are good. No.
But if you're going to drink energy drinks, you should drink ones that say methocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is what's bad for you because it's a cyanide-based B12.
Okay. So there's one dangerous form of cyanide, and that's cyanide. Let's see. It's cyanide hydroxide, I believe is what it is. Cyanide hydroxide. So that is not something that comes out of the digestion of cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is a stable form of adenocyclobalamin and methocyclobalamin. Adeno and methyl, we'll just say that. They are unstable forms. And so you're not getting the amount of B12 from those. They're just not shelf stable. So the cyano one, it does break down into a tiny amount of a form of cyanide, not the hydrogen cyanide that will kill you. It's a different form of cyanide, and there's less left over from that than there would be from flax seeds. So cyanide is something that is naturally occurring. And I can tell you, if you ever have to get vitamin B12 shots, they're not giving you adenocyclobalamin or methocyclobalamin, whatever. They're giving you the cyanide because that's the one that's shelf stable. So once a month, I do 1,000 milligrams of the cyanocobalamin because that's the only way I can get vitamin B12. I can't take it orally, so I have to take an injection. And so I do 1,000 milligrams of this every month. So the form of cyanide that this breaks down into, it does break down into the adenocyclobalamin, blah, 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 whatever, and the methocobalamin, whatever, and a form of cyanide, but not a dangerous form of cyanide, and less than what you're going to get if you have a flaxseed smoothie.
Are you waiting for my response?
Yeah, I was just curious. She's good at research. I thought I was good at research.
She went deep into the research.
Yes, I know.
What I will say the extent of my research was that I worked with a company to do my blood work.
Yeah.
The company's called Life Force. There's multiple companies out there that do what you would call like an extensive blood work panel. And the doctors that I worked with specifically told me that these energy drinks that have these cyanocobalamin in them, that they have 4 times the amount of what your daily dosage should be of that chemical. Okay. And that if you're going to drink energy drinks, you should read the back of the label and make sure it says methocobalamin on the back. And that's the extent of my research. And that's why I stopped drinking ones that have the cyanocobalamin.
I would agree. I mean, coffee and tea are probably better for you, right? It's just a straight form of caffeine, but there's no B12 in it. There's not. It's just a straight form of caffeine. And I'm a huge coffee drinker. I can drink my tea. Used to be a big tea drinker and not coffee, but made too many trips to Central America and the coffee down there is just too good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just too good.
It's really good.
Yeah, that was it. So, yeah, I completely agree with that. I'm drinking these till I run out of them. So I paid for them. They're $75 a piece in Biden's economy, and I got to drink them all. So
The FDA also suggests that 600 milligrams of caffeine is, 400 milligrams of caffeine is the daily allotted amount for a healthy individual.
yeah, they're way understating.
I'm probably at 1,000 milligrams a
way
day.
understating.
And I do quarterly blood work, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
So
Look, if I got to have a vice, right, and that's the healthiest of the vices I've got right now. I had a great discussion when running for office. One of the reporters at the Record, I think it was Peter Ellis, asked me, well, what do you think about global warming? Which, as a candidate for the state house, it didn't matter. There's not a whole lot I could do there. And I looked at him, I said, I don't believe that global warming can be, you can quantify it right now based on the information that we have. And I said, science says it's settled. But I said, Pete, you're having a cup of coffee right now. And 4 years ago, science said coffee was bad for you. And 3 years ago, science said coffee was good for you if you had 3 cups. And then last year, they said it's only good for you if you have 1 cup. So if science can't figure out coffee, which is a fairly simple thing to figure out, it's much more static than the environment. How can they figure out the environment? How can they figure out all of the And he looked at me and he just said, leave my coffee out of this discussion. So, I mean, it was, all this stuff is always evolving, which I think is science in its true self. When they tell you science is settled, that's the biggest lie they can tell you, because they're going to find out new things next year. They're going to go, well, maybe we shouldn't be doing that. I mean, I look at the food we ate as kids, the stuff that they gave us. Athletes used to take salt tablets, and then they said, salt tablets bad for you. Don't do salt tablets. Now they're giving us electrolytes, which have what? Salt. Yeah. It's like, we're right back to where we were.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do the research on the science, you have to also understand that nothing in science is absolute.
Yeah.
It's always evolving, like you said. I mean, right now, until we figure out that there's a different propulsion system that doesn't require gravity. Gravity is a scientific fact, but that could change in the next year. We don't know that.
Yep.
So the top scientists all understand this. It's when they try to convey the message to the average human where they're just like, no, that's a scientific law. But it's a law until it isn't a law. Mm-hmm. So
it's a hypothesis.
It's a hypothesis.
Until somebody proves, I mean, that's the thing about science. So when someone says it's settled science, that's the worst thing they can say about science.
But yeah, going back to energy drinks, I mean, if you like energy drinks, do your own research, I should say, always. But
well, and the other is you ought to pay attention to how your body feels.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I mean, if you're taking something, and everybody's different. Amanda has health concerns and conditions that are completely different from the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And so something that might be great for Blake is not good for me and might be okay for you too.
Yeah, just like some people thrive on the carnivore diet and others thrive on a vegan diet.
Yeah.
Just depends.
Carnivore diet?
I'll say so.
I would say so. I mean, the vegetables on this make you cringe every time you see the V8. And I see that. He just kind of shudders like it's like he's, yeah. No, I'm not going to make you eat broccoli when you're here.
Okay, thank you.
I won't do that.
I appreciate that.
What's your worst vegetable? The vegetable that you don't ever want to see?
Peas.
Peas aren't bad. I mean, if they're in a lot of butter, they're not bad.
Like, no.
Which I'm sure is good for you too.
Yeah, but you'll be surprised as well. Peas are actually my dad's least favorite as well.
Really?
Yeah.
That's when I take a protein supplement to mix in smoothies, and I was reading the back of it because I read all that stuff as well. And one of the ones comes from peas, a pea extract, because I guess they get a lot of protein out of peas. I was like, I had no idea that's where we were getting this from, but okay.
Peas are one of the few vegetables I actually like. I hate vegetables.
Really?
Yes.
Levi, I'm waiting. Vegetables, good or bad?
So when I was a kid, I hated vegetables.
Yes.
But I don't mind them now. Gosh, we could really go down a rabbit hole here. I don't think all vegetables are good for you. I think that a lot of vegetables that people eat on their daily diet are actually hurting them.
Yeah.
There's some science that, again, there's the word science.
Yes.
There's some science that actually defends this. If you look at the natural evolution of plants, they can't run away from animals. Mm-hmm. So they naturally developed a biological resistance to them to say, hey, don't eat me,
Yep.
to upset their stomachs. And there are certain vegetables that we consume on a daily basis that need to be cooked a certain way, or they're actually hurting us.
I've seen the science, and I have friends who have been real hardcore vegans until it trashed their health and their thyroids were wrecked, and they couldn't continue on, and then they had to rewire their brain to accept meat because that was the only thing that they could eat without hurting them.
See, and I go back to the if meat was so bad for us, why are vegans always trying to make things taste like beef?
Touche.
Right? I'm just, this one tastes just. I don't want it to taste just like it. I want it to actually be that. That's what I want. Yeah, I think all of it is in moderation. It's good if you're eating one diet the entire time. I mean, I remember reading a story. Jim Fixx was a big runner back in the 70s, and everybody thought he was the healthiest guy in the world because he started the running craze. He literally was eating mayonnaise every day out of a jar.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, is right. I mean, I'm like, no, you can't eat that. Occasionally, yes, not bad for you, but all the time, no.
Mayonnaise isn't bad for you as long as it's made well with good ingredients.
I'll agree with that. I don't think the regular stuff in the 70s
Not out of the
had
jar,
any
no.
kind. Yeah, I don't think that was probably the best stuff for you.
Yeah.
And what TikTok has taught me is like, you can make a lot of good stuff out of good ingredients.
Yeah.
If you're willing to put the time in to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And pay, $3 extra for organic or whatever. But
Yeah.
But I think you got to watch the organic stuff too. I think in some ways the organic stuff is some of the biggest scam that's going on today because they'll put organic on the box.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this must be healthier. But if you read the back of it, sometimes the organic stuff will have more sugars in it than the stuff that's non-organic.
for sure. The one thing I will say to eat organic is fruit. You don't want fruit that's sprayed in pesticides.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Especially soft-skinned fruits.
yeah.
What is a soft-skinned fruit, Blake?
So,
She was about to answer.
I know.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yes, you.
No. I'm scared to say something
So
wrong.
apples are like the worst fruit that you can eat,
Yes.
not organic.
Yeah.
Eat them organic. They're just, the skin is really penetrable, and so when they're spraying them with pesticides, that soaks into the fruit.
Yeah.
Whereas like banana, you have a hard outer skin that gets peeled off and completely thrown away by all sane people. And so like bananas don't matter it doesn't really matter whether it's organic or not.
Okay.
But definitely organic apples and grapes and things like that. Soft skins.
We have the two questions of the week. The first one, Susan Johnson, did you get your cookies at the Anastasia Diner? Because if not, they ate them. I dropped them off for you Sunday. If you didn't show up Sunday, they probably did eat them. And I'll have to get you another set this weekend. And then Bobby wants to know why romaine lettuce always is the victim of food poisoning.
It's not romaine. It's the way they harvest romaine.
How do they harvest romaine?
Well, they're paying people by the amount they harvest, and the bathrooms are usually at the far side of a very large field. And so rather than taking a bathroom break and going to the bathroom and taking a pay cut because you can't harvest a certain amount, they end up using the bathroom right next to what they're harvesting, and then it doesn't get cleaned off properly. And
Hence
then
E. coli.
you get E. coli.
Okay. All right. Susan, you get at least one free breakfast from the Anastasia Diner because you did not get your cookies. I will talk to Darcy. We'll make more cookies. We will get this cookie exchange done.
Poor Darcy.
Yes. And you notice Andy's not in the comments today.
No.
I bet Andy stays very
Suspicious.
low today. Very suspicious today. They were really good, Susan. I'm not going to lie. They were awesome. Levi's never had Darcy cookies. I think Blake has
No?
had Darcy.
I have not.
Blake has turned them down.
I did.
He doesn't like chocolate.
Please don't look at me
These
like
are
that,
not
Mike.
chocolate. These are pieces of heaven that masquerade
I
as
know,
cookies.
Mike. I understand how much everyone here likes them. It's just unfortunate the fact that when my taste buds taste chocolate, my tongue goes no.
Broccoli, no.
Broccoli, no. All right. So, yeah, I think Andy ate them all, but we're gonna figure all that out. But I do agree. The pesticides at times can you got to kind of watch that. It's hard to control it. Yeah, in one way, if you didn't have the pesticides, the yield would be so much lower.
Yeah.
Right. So you, in some ways, it's good
a
that you're getting
balance.
that, but it's also how you prep stuff. There's a lot of stories about which fruits and vegetables should be in the refrigerator, which ones shouldn't be in the refrigerator.
Yep.
So you really got to pay attention to what you're doing.
And how you're storing them.
Yes.
And,
This all used to be common knowledge back in the day. And because we have developed such a comfort lifestyle, people have lost this through time.
Well, that's part of what my husband and my son have been researching. They've been kind of going on a food forest rabbit hole this summer. And it's, the foods that we see in the grocery store and we're used to eating aren't necessarily the most nutritious. They're just the ones that can survive being mass produced and shipped across the country. And so there are very easy to grow foods that you can grow in your own yard here in Florida, but they don't have the names that you recognize. And so not many people know about them and not many people do it. So we're starting to grow some of them in our yard. I'll report back later.
Nice.
Well, we've done vegetable gardens the last 2 or 3 years. I will tell you, last year the peppers just quit. Every pepper plant they're just like, nope, not doing it this year. And I talked to people who grew daddle peppers last year, and it was the lowest yield year that they can remember. The year before they had bumper crops. And it's almost like the daddle's like, hey, we worked hard last year. We're taking this year off. We're just not going to produce anything. But we've got some tomato plants. It is taking forever to get any volume. We would have to have fields of tomato plants for those to actually physically be able to produce enough to feed somebody.
Yeah, I just go to the farmer's market every Saturday and buy my vegetables there, spend the money.
And I think the farmer's market is absolutely awesome. Which one's your favorite one?
The one, the amphitheater.
The amphitheater. It's Saturday.
Saturday, for sure.
Saturday, where our Menorcan Mike boys are.
Yes.
Yes. So I love that. You get good fresh bread there. There's all kinds of other
sourdough
awesome
bread
things.
there is
Sourdough.
phenomenal.
Yes. Yep. We have an employee and his wife that are making sourdough bread. They're getting into the kind of the business of it, and it is his name is Baldo, so we call it Baldo bread.
Gotcha.
So I'm like trying to get this marketed so we can get Baldo out there. So yeah.
Yeah, my older brother's wife does it, and they have like their own sourdough cult in Texas, where like all the housewives of Houston, like are making this sourdough together. Yeah. It's like their cult.
My cousin delivers sourdough from this small artisanal bakery in the Auburn University area. And it's like this whole thing, and everyone in the family evidently is like hooked on the sourdough. And so the cast off loaves that they can't sell, the ones that are like dented or whatever, the ones aren't pretty, he'll just bring them to my family, and everyone was freaking out about the sourdough.
So your family in Houston, do they have power back?
Yeah, they have power, yes.
Did they have power the entire time?
They did, yes.
Okay, so they were one of because Houston was, I want to say 70% or 80% of Houston was without
They're
power.
in a suburb of Houston called Friendswood, so they're about 20 minutes outside the city.
Yep.
But yeah, they had power. They never lost it.
My brother lives in Meyerland. They had power out, and I was watching a story this morning. Apparently, the Houstonians have not been nice to the power companies. The linemen have been getting harassed, mugged, threatened, yelled at.
You don't do that if you want power.
That was one of the guys
True.
said, I'm not coming back. We're finishing this and we're not coming back. And he said, we just go where we're told to go. If you have a problem, you call, I want to say it was Central, whatever the name of the company that runs the power grid. You call them. We're just here. None of us have to be here. We all left to come down here and work these jobs. We're working incredibly long hours, and now we're worried for our
away
safety.
from their families.
I think one group was trying to fix a line, and across the street, there's like 3 guys with AK-47s.
Dude, so
now it is Texas.
Yeah,
but
it is
AK-47 is like
Texas.
kindergartners carry those into school. But I mean,
no, all the talk about Florida, man. We know which side our bread's buttered on. We do not piss off the linemen.
No.
You keep those linemen happy if you want your power back.
Well, and FP&L does an amazing
You people are
job.
crazy.
I mean, if you look at how fast FP&L gets the whole state of Florida back online, they are unreal how good they are at hurricanes and the chaos that is ensuing.
But they have practice.
They have a lot more experience than the rest of them.
Yep.
JA can't be a bit better though.
You're going with JEA.
No.
You're saying they could get better.
No.
They could get better.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with
like FPL's gold standard. JEA.
I don't even think they're on the podium.
No.
I mean, honestly, I would give FP&L the gold medal, the silver medal, and the bronze medal.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure.
I mean, and I know they have a lot of crews that come from other places, but also when those states have disasters, FP&L deploys their people there as well. So, yeah, I always worry when I see a field full of FP&L trucks or somebody in line trucks before the storm comes. Like, what do they know that I don't know?
Hoop's about to go down.
Yeah, I mean, is this a good place because there's all these people here? They know it's safe to stage. Or if you see the staging crew move out, you're like, oh, now the storm is definitely coming here. This is not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't like that at all. All right.
Kind of like we want to send Vicky Oakes out to teach other supervisor of elections how to do it right. I kind of want to send FP&L out to train all the other power companies, especially in Texas, how to do this right.
Yes. Well, if you want your power back on, you treat your linemen well.
Correct.
Right? In Florida, I mean, if they come
Sounds
to
like
our
common
neighborhood,
sense.
they get Darcy cookies when they come to our neighborhood. If we've been without power for a couple of days, like, what else do you guys need?
Oh, yeah.
We got beer, we got bourbon. We give you whatever you want. Just put it in the
Anything you
car,
want.
whatever you guys want to have. We just want our power back on. So
I have really good luck with picking neighborhoods, evidently, because we never lost power in our old neighborhood except when the gas station exploded and they turned it off as a preventative measure. That's the only time I remember it being off for more than a flicker. And so far we're pretty good in our current house. So
who wants to take if a storm comes by this year? Amanda will not have power. Who wants that
saying.
bet?
Jesus loves me. That's all I'm saying.
That's too funny. I had somebody complain because Marsh Creek power stayed on, and I think they're on the same grid as the hospital, but they're also
I think we are too.
all of their power lines are underground. Just like they don't have any tree. There's not that many big trees in Marsh Creek, so there's not trees falling on power lines. The power lines are underground. So yeah, they're still on. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's a gated community.
Right.
I mean, it's they're in a gated community, so they have power and we don't. No, it's just the way the gated community was constructed. That's why they have power.
Yeah, we have buried lines and we're on the hospital grid too.
Yeah. Well, here in this building, we're on the sheriff's department grid. So.
Yeah.
That has not helped us. We've been straight up struck by lightning while we've been on the air twice.
Multiple times. Multiple times. Yes. And it is darkening out there. But Pete Melfi's not here. It usually only happens when Pete's around.
No, it's when I wear that white shirt with the black polka dots.
Not anymore.
That's the only shirt
Not
that
anymore.
we've ever had a lightning strike. I wore it twice, and both times we had a lightning strike. I'm never wearing it to the show again.
All right, so we have two other topics that I really want to get to. One is the RNC convention and what's going on there and comments on it, both on the first couple nights. But then there's also sports. Now, Amanda, this is the thing that men like to watch. We really do. We love sports.
Mansplain sports. To me,
Yes,
Mike.
we're going to mansplain this to you. I'm going to let Blake start because he is very excited about
He's
this.
so excited.
Blake came in today to hear you talk about sports.
He came in today to laugh at me for not knowing anything about sports. That's why
Hey,
Blake's
that's
here.
mean. Hey.
It's true.
Look at the smile on his face. He is so happy that he's here today.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Blake, what sport would you like to mansplain to Amanda first?
All right. How about the Tour de France? No. I'm kidding. Okay. So how about the U.S. basketball team? The exhibition games are still going on right now. Think today. They beat Serbia. So they defeated Nikola Jokic's team.
They did.
Hang on one second. Andy, you need to read way back in the comments when Susan Johnson found out that there were cookies delivered for her that she didn't get the other day. You owe her at least a free meal at the diner, buddy. All right. So how did the game go? You came in and said they looked really good.
They did, and they looked really bad against Australia. And then they came out today, and they looked horrible in the first quarter. And then the rest of the game, they looked like the USA team that we've all thought they were going to be.
Did they lose against Australia or just look bad?
No, they were up 20 points.
Okay.
And then in the second half, they let Australia cut it to 6 and then all the way to 4. And then they just didn't look good. Had 18 turnovers. They didn't look good. But today, Curry looked amazing. He had like 20 points in the first quarter and a half. The
Well,
defense.
he didn't have to do the playoffs very long this year, so he's rested.
He didn't, correct.
He's-
But he
he's
hasn't
still
looked
rested.
good until today.
And
He hasn't
LeBron
looked
looks
good.
rested too because he didn't make it deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was out in the first round.
Yeah, so I mean, those
But-
guys had got a little bit more rest than they normally get.
Yeah, I mean, the best player on the team so far through the first 3 exhibition games has been Anthony Davis, without a doubt.
Okay.
He has altered shots. He has rebounded. He has done the intangibles that Joel Embiid can't seem to do. Joel Embiid just looks like a useless body on the court, to be honest. And I'm shocked he's even playing on the American team. I thought he would have played with his home country. But I guess he wanted to play with America. I'm wondering if they're going to leave him in the starting lineup or if they're going to move Anthony Davis to the starting lineup.
And Anthony Davis is older than him, right?
He's older than him, yes.
Yeah, so their next game is on the 20th against South Sudan.
That starts the group play in London.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Huh.
Yes, it does start the group play in London.
Yeah, there we go, Amanda. Let's go.
Well, Amanda and Levi, you are both wrong. because Olympic group play starts July 28th against Serbia.
Okay.
So there we go.
That is not what USA Today says. The United States takes a fellow Group C member, South Sudan, in London for its fourth and penultimate USA Basketball Showcase exhibition game Saturday, July 20th. The game starts at 3 p.m. Eastern.
It's an exhibition.
It's in London, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But it's an exhibition game. This doesn't start the group play game.
Yeah.
Just because South Sudan is part of the same exact group that the USA, and doesn't mean it's automatically a group play game, even though the Olympics ceremony
The
hasn't.
commentators made a mistake today during the game because they said they fly to London to start group play, and they made it sound like that they were starting group play their first game.
Yeah, sure. The Paris Olympics start in London.
I want you all to know that I will have to leave the studio a few minutes early. I got to go upstairs to my office. I got to get some tools. The 3-foot wide door that we have in and out of the studio is not going to allow Blake's ego to leave today. So I'm going to have to widen that door for Blake's ego.
Oh, jeez.
Well done, Blake Blevins.
Let's talk about the chaos that ensued at the Columbia game in Miami, the soccer game. Did you see this?
No, I did not.
It was insane.
Was it Colombia, Panama? Or was it Colombia?
Argentina.
Argentina. Okay.
Yeah, for the Copa America title.
Tell me Panama was somewhere in the last 4.
I don't know where Panama was.
Panama didn't make it out of the group stages at Copa.
But they did beat the U.S.
Yeah, the U.S. men's team looks terrible.
You had to bring that up.
But they had to postpone the game.
Yes.
Almost 2 hours because of the chaos that was happening at the stadium. Colombian fans were crawling in through the ventilation system to try to sneak into the game. They were overpowering the gates to try to get in. Team players' families were stuck outside and couldn't get in because they had to lock it down with SWAT. It was mayhem.
Yeah.
And that stadium is hosting 4 World Cup matches next year, right? 2 years from now?
Okay, we are not going to be broadcasting from that stadium for any of those matches. No.
Yeah.
It was chaos. People were falling out. People were passing out. It was
not good.
It was not good.
It was not a good scene. I personally think it more has to do with like the conference that was hosting Copa America because it was the CONMEBOL, not like the North American conference like CONCACAF or like the stadium itself. I personally believe like their security didn't work well with Miami local police and then like the stadium security to help mitigate that
Is
issue.
it true they asked the Secret Service for advice on security?
It looked like it.
I'm just asking. There
was way too many sloped roofs at Hard Rock Stadium.
Good gracious. Who knew? Roofs, they slope.
Who had any idea? Yeah.
Mike, is your building sloped?
We have a slope roof, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Do you think Hardwick's a sniper team can climb up on the roof?
Positively, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are we doing British Open predictions?
We need to do British Open predictions.
We're on sports.
We're on sports. Today is Wednesday. So it starts tomorrow. It's at, where's it at?
St. Andrews, I believe. Or
no, I don't think it's St. Andrews.
Really?
Troon, maybe? Is it at Troon this year?
I'm not sure.
Amanda's looking it up desperately because she wants to be the first one to know. This would give you 2 right answers?
Royal Troon.
Troon.
Good. Look at Mike with the memory.
Yes. I was gonna say the one that John Vandevelde.
That was Carnoustie.
Carnoustie, yeah. That one was rattling around my head. I said, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right.
Who won that, by the way? Like,
not him.
Yeah.
He looked like me on every hole of golf, right?
Jeez.
Oh, this is easier right here. Oh, let me knock this around. All right. So,
Amanda, who's your predictions?
So we usually pick 2 golfers. So Amanda, quickly, I'll let you go last. See if you can see who's in there. Who do you have? Which 2 golfers?
I'm going to say Rory McIlroy and Hideki Matsuyama.
All right. Levi?
Cam Smith and Scotty Scheffler.
Smith is a good. Has Scheffler won this yet? Has he won the British?
He hasn't won the British yet,
He's like the hot, and he hasn't really played.
but he has to be arrested first in order to be good.
I think the British can take care of that. So I might. And the other question is Bryson's playing in it, right?
Yes.
All the
Bryson's
live
playing.
golf. So Bryson's in, and what about
Brooks is playing.
Brooks Koepka's in this
Yes.
one? Man, that's kind
John
of.
Daly's playing as well.
I've got Daly at the bar for 12 drinks. Anybody want to challenge that? I love watching John Daly Instagram videos.
He's hilarious.
It is so funny watching him just mess around with people. I think I'm going to take Scheffler and Brooks Koepka. I'm going to go there.
Oh, okay.
I got Scheffler and Koepka. All right.
I'll say Scheffler and Rory.
We can't all pick the same people.
Yeah, that's.
All right,
I picked one of his and I picked one of yours.
I tell you what. I tell you what. I'll let Amanda stay there. I'll knock Scheffler off and I'll put Bryson on there. So that gives me two guys that don't like each other. That if they're playing together on the last day would be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
So the best odds are for Scheffler and Rory, and then Xander Schauffele is next. Colin
That
Morikawa.
was my third one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure,
literally.
Amanda.
Colin Morikawa's been playing some good golf.
Based
He's been
on
playing
the
good.
article I'm reading right now, Xander was my third one.
Scotty Scheffler, Xander. Okay, so we got some good ones. I'm letting you double up.
All right.
Next time in a golf tournament, you have to pick your own, and we'll let you
Fine.
pick first. I did let you go last, so that's why I'm giving you the.
Well,
and
just-
you're a
I
If
will-
you're
girl.
gonna make me do a prediction on sports, then just let me know so I can research it before I walk in.
We'll be doing sports every Wednesday.
My original prediction was Rory, but I didn't pick him because he took Rory. So I was going to do Rory and Cam Smith. I actually was going to leave Scheffler out of there.
I think Rory's got a pretty good shot. I think he wants redemption, so it kind of makes a good story there. It'd be fun to kind of see him play. The guy I miss is oh gosh, he was so hot there for a while at the end of the Tiger era. Kid from Texas, and he just hasn't.
Ricky Fowler?
No,
Anthony Kane?
it starts with an S, and I can't think of his name. But he won 2 or 3 in a row. He was like on fire, winning majors.
I don't know who you're talking
He
about.
won the PGA, won US. I think he won the. He's just one short at a young age of having won Speed. Jordan Speed.
Jordan Spieth.
Yeah. I like
Sorry,
Jordan
it took me a
Spieth.
second. I really like him. I just want to see him play well again. He just hasn't. He hasn't played well. He's been on the tour. He doesn't miss the cut, but he doesn't get up in the top 10.
It's tough, man. It's a tough
Yeah.
sport.
I mean, like, it is a tough sport because literally a couple of feet on a couple of holes, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Where you land, what the putt is, all those kind of things. So, what's the weather prediction over there? Have you guys looked at the weather?
I have not, but I heard the greens were rolling quite slow for there.
That makes a huge difference to
100%.
these guys putting.
Yes.
Because they're used to putting on stuff that's like concrete, smooth, polished, and has baby oil on it. And then if you put it on something really slow, that's a total mind screw up right there for a golfer.
Yeah. So right now they're saying the first
They're
round's
saying
going.
rain.
Yeah. The first round might be dryish, but the rest of the weekend might be wet and windy.
You never at the British Open, you could get up in the morning, turn it on, and it's beautiful and sunny. And you go make yourself a cup of coffee, and you come back, and there's a hurricane blowing through.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
then
much like
40
Florida
minutes
weather.
later, it's just windy, and then 40 minutes later, it's sunny again.
Sounds
Yeah.
like Florida.
Yeah,
Yes.
Florida a lot.
Colder, but much colder.
Yes.
A little
Much
bit
colder.
colder.
We're going with cold. We would like that kind of cold weather.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the British Open picks. I'll put those in. So we got that. All right. Any other sports? We talked basketball. Baseball had the All-Star game last night. Did you
They
watch
did.
play?
I couldn't for a little bit. Like so for the first half, no, because I had to work my dad's trivia show.
Mm-hmm.
But I did watch parts of the second half, and unfortunately the pitcher that they gave up the 2-run home run for the American League was Hunter Green of the Cincinnati Reds. So Yeah.
So
that-
the Reds did have an impact on the outcome of the game.
Yes.
You can at least take that. You can feel good about that.
yes.
Or not.
Mhm.
And then the Reds and the Braves start on Monday.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
insane.
Monday series. So I'm really looking forward to that because I have a lunch bet on it. Right now, your
Oh,
dad ose me 75 lunches.
But at least it's only 3 games, so.
Mhm.
So we will have a winner in that. We don't have to worry about runs scored.
Yes.
But even the run differential is better.
World basketball. Josh wants to know world basketball to bet on.
Tell Josh that I'll talk to him later tonight about that.
All right.
He knows.
He knows. Okay. So, Troy, more lunches. Troy's already predicting a loss in the series. RNC, we saved like the political stuff for the last. Wait a minute. Let's do the Key and Peele moment. Those of you that do not know Key and Peele and do not know Key and Peele presidential handshake, you should go look at it. It was a skit on Obama that they did during
Years
his
ago.
presidency,
Yeah, years ago.
and years ago, where is it Key or Peele? One was I never know which one.
It was Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele was playing the president, and he's leaving a speech, and every person that he shakes hands with that is white,
He does like a
formal handshake.
Yes.
But every person is an African American. It's the hug and my brother, my sister.
Yeah.
It just, and we all do that to a certain degree. Like if I'm walking through a couple of people and I'm shaking hands with people I don't know, and one of you is in that line, I'm giving you a hug.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's just the way that people are. But it brought that to light. So the other day there was a video of Obama at the practice. And
Yes,
describe the
exhibition
handshake.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was exactly like the skit.
It was
It's
exactly.
spot on.
I mean, Steve Kerr had to beg for the hug. I don't know if you noticed. Obama gave him the handshake, and Kerr just like pulled him in for the hug. He's like, no, I get the hug.
Yeah, facts.
Kerr was, it was just so funny to watch because here's a skit that you're like, oh, it actually did happen years and years later.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. It just,
I wonder if he knew that and did it on purpose.
he might have.
He might have.
He might have. He might have said to his handlers, Joe needs some help this week. I'm going to go ahead and do this because it'll take some heat off of Joe this week. So, yeah, I thought that was very interesting. All right, Democrats covering the RNC. I read a lot of reports today on Real Clear Politics, a lot of different outlets that were posted there. It seems like the Democrat reporters, because I consider anybody for mainstream media to be a Democrat reporter inside the mainstream media.
Even Fox News.
Yep, I got most of them too. Yeah, I don't trust most of them.
Okay.
Sorry, I just don't. And they are all upset that the Republicans are getting along with one another. That, oh my gosh, they're getting along with one another. And they shouldn't be getting along with one another. This is the Republican convention. They're supposed to be arguing and mad at each other. And everybody that doesn't like Trump was told to not come to the convention, or that they've come around to Trump. And so it's been very interesting to watch their reaction to what I think so far has been a pretty good convention.
Mm-hmm.
You've watched,
I did.
and your comments. As a Democrat, give us the unbiased version.
So after what happened Saturday, their whole message was about unity, and what I seen at the RNC was about unity. Like we see Nikki Haley, Governor DeSantis, Vivek, look all speak at the convention, which is very helpful to Donald Trump and his base. The only concern that I have at this point is what's going to be said by J.D. Vance and Donald Trump tomorrow night, because the rest of the surrogates they can say whatever they want to praise Donald Trump, but obviously if you want to hear like actual policy stuff being mentioned at the convention, it's those two.
Isn't J.D. Vance tonight and Trump tomorrow night?
Yes.
Okay. So J.D. Vance will be on tonight.
Yes.
Trump will be tomorrow.
Yes.
Levi comments. Did you watch?
I watched several of the speakers talk, and I thought it was great. It's actually the first one I've ever watched.
Okay.
And it was, I mean, like you said, it was around unity. Look, here's my thing. I'm going to go off the RNC a little bit, but like, you get 3 lives, okay? And this is my take on this.
Okay.
The first life you get, they try to cancel you. They couldn't cancel Trump.
Mhm.
The second life they get, they try to imprison you. They
Yep.
couldn't imprison him. The third one is they try to assassinate you, and they failed at that.
Yes.
So Trump he's become basically in the Republican community, he's become this like, they can't get rid of him. Even the Republicans that hate him, they can't get rid of him. He just beats everything. So, I think that it's what we're seeing, because this is the first time we've seen the RNC like this, where they're not fighting. So he's unified the entire Republican Party.
And that was the one thing that everyone said that he couldn't do.
So, I mean, how can you hate the guy at this point, right? He doesn't, he's at 80, what is he, 78? He's a 78-year-old billionaire. He should be on a yacht fishing. He doesn't have to be doing what he's doing, and he's risking his life because he really feels like he's here to help better the country. Like the country needs help, and I'm behind him. So I don't see how you can hate the guy. I just don't see how you can hate the guy.
Okay, look, I personally respect him, like as a businessman. He has done a lot of great things, but especially during times like during presidency. But there are some things that I do not like about him, and especially what happened like during the end of this term makes me made me disgusted as an American. So that's why I feel worried about a second Trump presidency, and what does that mean for the future of American democracy? That's what I personally think.
Amanda?
I hear a lot of talk about American democracy is in danger because of Donald Trump, and he stepped down. He walked away. He stepped down when he believed that he won. So I don't think there's going to be a problem in any realm of possibility of him leaving office should he get elected to a second term. Trump has proven that he will comply with the process, even if he talks a bunch of trash about it the whole time. Like, hating every second of walking out of that White House, he still walked out of the White House. So I don't think there's an existential threat from Donald Trump like people like to hyperbolically rail against him about. I know that his policies and the economic environment that were created under his administration were incredibly beneficial to my family and to every person I know who is now hurting worse as a result of him not being in the White House. So regardless of the fact that I don't agree with him on lots of things, he was an excellent president, and he's got my vote. And that moment of him jumping back up and reassuring that crowd that he was fine, he was all right, that's iconic, and that will be iconic forever. And I don't know, I have noticed some commentators pointing out that the Democrats aren't saying let's replace Biden anymore. And the hypothesis that I've heard is because they know they've lost at this point. So let it be Biden's failure and not the Democratic Party's failure. So I don't know. It's going to be weird to see what happens.
I read that theory in 2 articles today.
Yeah. We narrowly missed a really scary turn of events. And I'm glad the man didn't succeed. He never should have gotten as close as he did. And I'm heartbroken over the family that lost their father.
You're right about that. I've read that in 2 articles, both of them stating that not only do they not want to replace him, that Kamala Harris would not take it. Yeah. Because if she gets badly beaten, her political career is over.
Her political career is over anyway.
I understand that, but she doesn't believe her political career is over, right? None of them do. If Joe Biden can make it to the White House, anybody can make it to the White House.
The only way Kamala Harris is getting another job is if some miracle Biden pulls out a re-election victory and then doesn't finish out his term, whether they Amendment 25 or whatever. That's the only way she's getting another job. This is her last job. She is retiring from this point out. She's not even going into the political commentator space. You don't even think she can be a host on The View in the future? No, because she's got that just grating voice that no one wants to hear, ever.
I just described The View, and you don't think that's on The View now?
No, I think that they don't want to add another one.
Okay. All right. That's better. The other thing that I'm a huge history buff, and I watched the events unfold in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And if you'd asked me in March or April, May of 2020, I'd have told you Trump had a really good chance of being reelected. The economy was in pretty good shape. COVID hits. We're trying to deal with COVID. Then you have George Floyd. Then you have a whole bunch of other. It's like every single event that unfolded in 2020 broke against Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
There was not one break in the last 6 months or 7 months before the election that went Trump's way, that you went, oh my gosh, this is great, right? This year, it seems like everything is breaking against Biden.
Mm-hmm.
The inflation has stayed up. Gas prices, food prices have not gone anywhere. People fully understand.
Oh, they've gone somewhere. They've
gone up, but they understand that they're not going to get any better under the current administration, and that Biden has no plan, and he hasn't talked about fixing it. They've talked about Trump, but they haven't talked about what they're going to do for the average American. And it's like the Democratic Party says, we've got Trump. We're just going after Trump. But voters are going, what are you going to do for me? And the first 2 nights of the Republican convention have been, this is what we're going to do for you. I don't think they focused on Biden as a personality. They focused on the policies. They focused on how hard Americans have been hurt, how different groups have been affected by this administration, and they haven't made it personal. And if they continue to campaign like that, and they continue to get the breaks they're getting. I mean, Trump not being assassinated was an incredible break, because everybody that I have talked to that shoots a gun says that's a shot that somebody can make.
Yeah.
It was
an eminently makeable shot.
Yes.
Well, he tilted his head at the last minute.
Yeah, that's the only reason. There's this really wild video. I don't know if you saw it. Tim Pool had a bunch of people on last night at the RNC, and they were talking about it, and they showed the video clip there. Someone overlaid like a graphic of Donald Trump's head movements with the trajectory of the bullet. Mm-hmm. And literally, it was going to go through the back of his head, not his eye. Like, that was the trajectory.
Yes.
And the only reason it didn't is because he tilted his head at the last minute.
Yes.
So, it's wild.
Yeah. No, we're remarkably lucky as a country.
That's a different one.
Yeah,
there's a slightly different one.
That would have been one of the worst things for us to have to deal with as a country.
Yeah.
In the middle of this very contentious election cycle, with the rhetoric heated up as much as it is on both sides, it would have been a horrible thing.
I mean, Archduke Ferdinand is the reason we went into, the world descended into a worldwide a war. I mean, people joking about these assassinations, this assassination attempt, and whether or not, there's been some really disgusting jokes.
Yeah, like Tenacious D.
Yeah, and just the blind spot of our country and potentially the world averted a huge crisis because Donald Trump turned his head. Like, that's literally the only thing that saved this country and potentially the world at large from a really horrific turn of events. And it was just a head turn.
There's higher powers at work there, in my opinion.
A lot of people are saying that.
Well, and that, Blake, I got to ask you that question. There's a lot of people on the right. There's a lot of people, religious people, were saying, divine intervention. Mm-hmm. Do you believe it was divine intervention, or was it just luck that he turned his head?
I personally believe that Donald Trump is like the luckiest man in the world, like if not one of the luckiest man like in history, because as Levi mentioned, like him being bankrupt should have taken him down. Him being sick with COVID should have taken him down. Him like him being indicted should have taken him down, and him being nearly assassinated should have taken him down. But yet he's still survived. So it's insane.
Does that make him one of the toughest people that has ever run for office, to have gone through all of these things? I know you don't like him, but most other people would have folded a long time ago, and he just hasn't quit.
Teddy Roosevelt got shot and still continued his speech though. Mm-hmm. But of course the Secret Service wasn't as powerful back then. So hey.
Yes. I think he's one of the toughest people I've ever seen, because the amount of crap that has been piled on him right? He wasn't impeached once, he was impeached twice. It didn't slow him down, right? It didn't deter him from what he was doing. He's had his home raided. He's the first president that's ever had his house raided. He's been taken to court multiple times. We can argue over whether the venues were fair, the charges were fair. I think in time, all of them will be dismissed. None of that deterred him. There are a lot of people that after the second or third court case would have said, hey, I'm just going to give this up if you guys will let me go. He never did. He's been convicted. That didn't slow him down. It only put jet fuel into his campaign. And now this very unfortunate assassination attempt, which he barely survived.
Barely.
You at that point in time, you have to just go, this guy is one of the toughest people I've ever seen in politics.
For sure, without a doubt. And you see it with even the crowd that was at the event in Pennsylvania. He stands up and he puts his fists up and he tells the Secret Service, hold on. And then everyone stands up and cheers. They didn't know if there was other shooters in the crowd. They didn't know what was going on, but bravery breeds bravery. And I think that's what we need right now as a country. And I don't see anyone better for the job.
There's a stark contrast between Trump and Biden at a time when people are looking, we need strong leadership. And there are plenty of Democrats that would never vote for Donald Trump. There's Republicans that would never vote for him. But there's people in the middle that go, you know what? I'm voting for him because of that.
Yeah, I mean, Biden's biggest enemy is the stairs. So, like,
yes.
let alone worrying about being assassinated.
All right.
Well, that's only because they took bicycles away from him.
So, Joy Reid,
She's just a great lady.
She's not the happiest person. She was not happy about Amber Rose. So she posted on X, she said, I don't know anyone who takes their political cues from Amber Rose, but just in case you do, you might want to duplicate doing your own research because she might not have done it thoroughly. They brought somebody whose whole career is based on Black culture. She used to be on a show on BET. That's the reason most people know her, who she is. She dated one of the most prominent African-American rappers in the business in the history of hip hop. So her whole culture came from Black culture, even though she says she's not a Black person herself. Amber Rose.
She's mixed race.
Amber Rose. Not taking any of this from Joy Reid. And this is like, Joy, somebody was very good at this. You don't knock them down. You just let that go and you hope no one else noticed it. You brought more attention to it. Amber Rose came back, hi, at Joy Reid. I've never said I wasn't Black. I said I identify as biracial. I'm not going to invalid my white father to make you feel more comfortable. Stop being a race baiter. Your president does enough race baiting for all of us.
Wow.
Joy Reid just gave her another platform to appeal to voters. Thank you, Joy Reid, for doing the thing that you do so well, which is being horrible.
After Amber Rose spoke, she was trending on Twitter for multiple hours. And she is, the way that she approached her speech, she didn't act like she knew everything about politics or anything. She even started off by saying, I wasn't a Donald Trump supporter.
Yep.
And her father challenged that thought. And then she's like, I started to do my research. And she's like, after I did my research, I completely flipped. And to go up at that convention and be able to let your walls down and actually be able to tell that and be like, hey, I thought this, but I did my research and now I think this. That takes a lot of courage in itself.
Yes.
And to stay in her lane even and not even try to dive into the political side of things. She just was speaking like a regular American up there. And, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Amber Rose, but I thought she did really well.
Her best line is about groceries, putting food on your kid's table.
Yeah.
And the other one was, if you're mad when you go to the groceries and you fill up your gas tank, you're pissed.
Yeah.
And that captured a lot of sentiments of regular Americans.
Correct.
Who are struggling every week to do those two things.
She's from California, so I know she's hurting bad.
All right, we're at the end of the show. Amanda, thank you for gracing us with your 3-day work week again.
You're welcome.
It is so nice that you were here. You are going to do a 4-day work week before the end of the year, right? Because I've got vacations coming up.
Yes, I will. This is my last time that I know of that I'm going to miss a show. The next time might be when my nephew's born, but we've got a few weeks for that.
Okay. All right. And did you enjoy the video I sent you earlier today?
It's great. Love it when you send me Matt Gates videos.
It's never going to stop. I know Davey was laughing.
Love you so much, Mike Davis.
Yes. Tomorrow night, Blake will be here. Lenny will be here. Troy will be here for sure. It might be a Bollocks takeover of the show. I have a hard meeting at the city at 1:00. I'm number 7 on the agenda. It is my
Lucky
goal.
number
It
7.
is my goal to be here for the show. I have all kinds of great trivia lined up for the boys. They won't have to hold one hand behind their back because Amanda's not here. We could do sports questions tomorrow.
Well, that's only if you actually show up at all.
I might not be here at all.
Synchronized swimming.
Yeah.
Table tennis.
That is a sport because you have to
It is a
win.
sport.
Gymnastic, Troy's not so sure about. Diving, not so sure about.
Probably synchronized swimming too.
Yeah, probably. There's judges involved.
Yeah.
Ice skating, judges involved. Levi, thanks for being back with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you're going to sit in and cover when I'm gone in the next couple of weeks or coming up for vacations. Tune in tomorrow morning. That show that's on in the morning. And please, for the love of Davey's mental health, tune into the show in the middle of the day.
That afternoon show.
That afternoon show. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all.